Good afternoon, Flosstube. This is Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome everyone to my channel today. I'm very glad that you stopped by for a visit. This weekend in America is our 4th of July weekend, where we celebrate our Independence Day. 4th of July actually falls on Tuesday this year, so the holiday is going to go from Saturday until Tuesday. Many people are lucky enough to have that whole entire weekend off from work. I'm not one of those lucky people. I will have to go to work on Monday, but through the weekend there are many celebrations in the area where I live, whether it be boat parades at our local lake, parades in the downtown area, or just one neighborhood over there doing a golf cart parade through their neighborhood. It's just a time to celebrate our nation's independence, but it's also a time for family, friends, neighbors, a time for good food cooked outdoors and fireworks and just fun. Today's been a really hot one, and I'm sure it's going to be mimicked on this coming Tuesday as well. We've got a lot of rain last week, which means it is 98 degrees outside right now, but that's without the humidity. So it's over 100 here. So you can probably tell by my cheeks that I'm feeling a little warmth right now sitting in front of these large windows here in my dining room. And we're gonna expect that again on Tuesday. So my family, we're gonna cook indoor. We're gonna do a little low-key 4th of July celebration. We're gonna have some good food, but we're not gonna cook it outdoor on the grill. Outdoor on the grill here for us. We did cook out this past weekend with the family, and we just did burgers and dogs. But the flies, I think they put out a notice or an alert to all the flies nearby. When you go in and out to cook, they come in the house, you're swatting flies inside, they're irritating you while you're outside cooking. So I told my husband, instead of doing all that like we normally do, we'll put up a canopy outside. We have all the family over. We cook a big meal. We're gonna do something a little more low-key this year and cook inside. So that's what we're gonna do this coming weekend. But in the meantime, when I'm not cooking or celebrating, I'm gonna be stitching. So today, I actually met up with my local stitch group, and we spent some time together celebrating the birthday of one of our friends. And we had a potluck dinner, and we spent most of the afternoon stitching and laughing and chatting and catching up. We do meet about once a month, and I look forward to it every month. This week, I was working on a piece that I shared with you last week. It's the America sampler. It is by Calico Confectionary. It is only 4 DMC colors. I'm stitching it on what appears to be a 42 count linen. I had also started it on a 28 count. I didn't care for the 28 count. It looked too big and bulky for me. The colors are more vibrant, but I think that's because with a 28 count, I was stitching it with 2 threads. I think the colors showed up better, but with this one, I'm just enjoying this. I can stitch it in hand easier. And from last week, I think I was maybe on the 3rd banding. I've worked 2 more bandings. And today I picked up and stitched a little bit in here, the flower, and I worked some of the flowers on this piece here, this flower basket. And I hope tonight to finish the wording, God shed his grace on thee, and finish this piece as well, and maybe even pull down the sides, the border. My husband's having a few hours with his friends this evening, so I'll have a few hours to stitch. So I'm hoping to get some good progress on this. And I planned, originally I was thinking I would stop on the 4th of July because the holiday was here and not finish this piece up, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm doing really good this year about finishing any new things that I start. I've worked on and finished several of my whips, with the exception of one that I've touched this year, and it's just a big project. I won't finish it this year, but I'm okay to touch things I already have going. But anything I start like this, I do want to finish it this year. So I'm going to carry that one through and once it's finished, then I'm going to pick up this next piece. And I've shared it with you before. Well, where did I stick it? Oh, there it is, sorry. It's the anniversary by My Big Toe Designs. When I spoke to you last, I was having a problem deciding on which color blues to use. I wanted to do, kind of mimic this one here, this piece here, but the key does not give the color numbers for this piece. So I was on my own to choose the blue. It did list, I think it was the green one down here is the one that's in the color key. So the fabric that I had chosen was this piece here, and it is a 36 count, just Winter Moon Edinburgh linen. So it's like a creamy, buttery color. And I ended up going with, using my color card, my DMC color thread color card, I'm going with 3750 as the dark. And within the same color shade, a lighter version of that shade, I'm choosing 3752. So 3750 and 3752. I did choose a light and dark from several different shades of the blue on the card, and this is the one I chose. I had originally chosen 168 and 3768, in which when I pull the color card out, this is indeed in the blue section, this one's in the gray. And I thought they kind of get lost on this fabric. It's a creamy, nice shade. I think these colors are gonna work much better. So as soon as I finish the American sampler, I'm gonna begin and start. I'm gonna start the anniversary. My husband and I will celebrate a milestone anniversary this November. But because I'm starting a large piece August 1st with a friend, I did not want to, I felt like it was limiting the time I could work on this. So I will work on this primarily through July once the America sampler is done, and then I will start this, and I will work simultaneously between the one I will be starting August 1st and this one, so that I'll have time to get this one completed and framed so I can gift it to my husband in November. So I did get a couple of pieces of haul, not too much. What I did get was one little tiny thing. I shared this finish with you last week, and when I shared it afterwards, I thought, I forgot to order the flag. So the pattern calls for, this is Grand Old Flag by Heart and Hand Needlearts, and there was a miniature flag there. So I ordered that one, and I mean, when I say miniature, look at this tiny little thing. It's smaller than a nail on your pinky. And that will go right there in that open spot on this piece. So I got that ordered, and I will take just a minute or two this evening. I'm gonna sit down and put that on this piece so I can finish it up. I did do some shopping around at some local places like Pop Shelf and Dollar General. I even went in Hobby Lobby looking for something that I would want to finish this on, and the only thing that I found that it was the size and the shape would go good was something like this. Now this is actually for my Heart and Hand monthly March piece, which was a leprechaun, and I'm going to finish him into here. So I didn't want to do the same type of finish with this, so I haven't decided. I haven't come up. I don't want to do a pin pillow, and I'm going to put this button on, and hopefully I will find something soon and have a full finish on this. The other thing that I got was a Lila Studio, and this is With Love. Now, if you've been watching me the past few weeks, in between a large piece, I will start a small piece. I do want to start this between the America sampler as well as the anniversary. So that will possibly give me 3 pieces on the go. I don't know if I will have this finished and still give myself 2 weeks for the anniversary. We'll see. I may put this off. But I had ordered this with the intention of stitching it in between. And with it, I ordered a piece of 36 count sand Edinburgh linen. And the color is not showing up good in that sunlight. It is a relatively small piece. Once finished, it's 5 3/4 by 4. inches, and it's on a 40 count, so mine will be a slightly bigger, but it is a small finish. It's something I should be able to do relatively quickly, and I may just use this as a lunchtime small at work, but I've got plenty of room to stitch that piece, as well as have a piece of this left over to stitch something else on. And those are my only 2 pieces of haul this week. I do have a couple of fully finishes, and I'm so excited about them. So I shared with you a couple of weekends ago, like 3 videos in a row, I kept wanting to finish this. Well, here's Hope Song by Heartstring Samplery. I ordered this off of, it come from Acorns and Threads. And it was it was not necessarily a club kit, it was offered in a Facebook Stitchers group. And it was being sent out by Acorns and Threads, and this is my finish on my piece. So this is, again, Heart Song by Heartstring Samplery. The kit, I ordered the finishing kit as well. It come with this paddle board, it come with this Lady Dot Creates Rick Rack, it come with the cotton batting, as well as a piece of mat board to finish your piece around, and I am so happy with how this turned out. Why did I put this off? It only took a couple of hours. The instructions that came with the finishing kit was amazing. They were spot on. I had no issues at all putting this together. And why I put it off, I need to be spanked with this paddle. But it's a beautiful finish. My other finish is Forever in Peace. And this piece is by Sweet Wing Studio. I was thinking I ordered these frames last week and got them in time for my video last week. And I was thinking that I would paint this in patriotic painting on the frame itself. But then when I got it stretched, got it pinned, got it on the mat board, and I thought, I really like it just as it is, the plainness of it. And the white frame pulls out the white and the stripes of the flag. I left the kickstand so I could prop this up and keep it displayed through this coming Tuesday. I'm happy with the way it's finished. I'm very happy that it is finished, but I can display it each year. I will say that I was thinking this is not glass. It was covered both inside and outside with a piece of protective film, but it's not. It's a thin plexiglass. So just know that if you intended to order these frames, I was thinking the protection was there because it was glass and it was being mailed through the Postal Service to protect it through that transit, but it's not. It's a thin type plexiglass. But this finish is everything I wanted. I'm happy with it, and it's another FFO. It feels good to finish something. It feels even better to have it FFO'd and out and displayed so that you can look at it and admire your work, or at least that's the way I feel. So I thought, since it is a holiday weekend, it's an Independence Day, I would share with you some of my prior patriotic stitches. Most of them I know the name of the pattern. I don't know for certain the designer. I will try and remember to place those below, so if anyone's interested, I think all of them are still in print or that you can get them. But I'm going to start with this first one. It's the only one that I don't have finished, and this is Stars and Stripes Forever. And this one is by, I believe it's Heart and Hand. I stitched this a couple of years ago. I enjoyed stitching this one. It only has 4 colors. It was a nice stitch, easy stitch, and I love what it represents, which is patriotic stitches. And then I have another piece, and this is a Heart and Hand, I believe. If not, it's a Bent Creek, but I'll look it up, like I said, and put it below. I've shared this on my video before, but I made this one into a needle book, and it's one of my favorite non-framed finishes that I've done. And I think that's because I finished it up with my own ideas. I didn't look at a tutorial. I just had an idea in my head and I went with it, and I think it turned out perfectly. So basically I made the front and back cover of a book, and I even put, what you call this? I'm wanting to say fleece, and that's not, words escape me every time I get on Flosstube. I mean to say one thing, or I say it wrong, or I can't remember my certain words when I get in here. But I finished it up. I used my crocodile to put a little grommet there, and I put some jute twine, and on that twine I just tied in with knots some little wooden spools that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. I used some of military buttons that I had found while I was out thrifting, as well as buttons and pins and ribbons from my son when he was in the NJROTC in high school. And of course, this piece is the cover. And then you have all these pieces in patriotic red, white, and blue. And I did sew in these different colors individually so that it gave my book a spine. So it was a little wider. That way it would allow for spacing for the different pins and things I put inside. So I thrifted this one last year. It's Air Force pins. And then I actually put another pin of the year I finished it, which was 2020. More little military buttons, pins, some of those bulb pins that I found. I get them a lot of times if I'm buying new clothes that will be used to attach the tag, and I'll use them. One of Jacob's pins. I put some patriotic ribbon. I sewed it to the edge of this page. This is a counting pin. My stepfather retired from the U.S. Postal Service, so I used one of the patches from his shirts in here. And then I also work for the Postal Service, so I have one of my name tags in here. And just different things, ribbons from Jacobs and JROTC days. I just had a great time making this piece. And it's one of the finishes that I'm most proud of because, like I said, it came out of my own little brain. And I had an idea and I went with it, and it turned out just as I wanted it to, which don't have to happen often. So there's that one. And the next two are patriotic pieces. One of them is actually not considered a patriotic piece, but I take it that it is. But that's the next one. But this one is God Bless America by Erica Micheals. I think this one came out last year, I believe, at Market. And a couple of friends and I ordered it, and I put it in my state fair. We stitched it together. I put mine on the state fair, and I won a first place ribbon with this one. I had intentions of hanging this one in my office at work, but I left that office. I'm in a different office from when I stitched this, and I have not taken it to my new office. And the next one is an Forest Embroidery piece. Now this one, both of these I've shown on my Flosstube before, and like I said, I just want to showcase them because they're patriotic stitches. But know that Julie of Reflections, Needlearts, and Framing, I was watching one of her most recent videos this week, and she mentioned that they're going to be doing a stitch along for our Forest Embroidery pieces. So I'm thinking of joining at some point later in the year. And so I was browsing the site. She's not decided on a date to start, but I do know that it will be on any Forest Embroidery piece. This is my piece. It's the first and only one I have of Forest Embroidery, and it's called Southern Land. And I stitched this one on a 40 count platinum linen, which is one of my favorite. It's my go-to linen. I love platinum. It's only 4 colors. It's a dark blue, light blue, a red, and a peachy salmon color. And I love the way it turned out. Now, I've got a couple of the designs in mind that I would like to purchase so that I can join in with Julie when she sets the date, but I haven't made that decision yet. But if you're interested to know more, just go over to Julie's channel and give her a look. It's Reflections, Needlework, and Framing. And then I realized I had another piece that I have not shared with you here on Flosstube. I found this piece thrifting earlier in the year, and I do know I showed it on Instagram, but I wasn't filming at the time. I ran across this and an old quilt that day. The prices were, I got them both for a steal. I don't have the quilt to share with you, but I do have this piece. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I have to tell you, when I say a steal, you'll be amazed to know this cost me $25. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. As you can see, it is in a clock cabinet. It does have a clock mechanism. I'm looking around back, I'm looking at the mechanism. It needs to be replaced. I brought it home. I gave it a good clean. It was just dusty. It had been loved. The case, the door of the case is glass. It is stitched. It's actually embroidery, so it must have been, I don't know whether it was a stamped piece or not. Down here at the bottom, you have the White House. And then you have the emblem of the United States. And of course, the clock face. I'm sorry, the light from the windows coming in and glaring. And I'm imagining maybe this was designed back around or shortly before 1976 for the bicentennial celebrations. And I may be wrong about that, I'm just guessing. I cannot believe I lucked up and found this for $25. I told my husband it's coming home, and then I find that day that quilt, and there are a couple of pieces. It was well loved and it's beautiful, and there were a couple of pieces that were worn through, but it was $40. Both of them. We were on the way to a weekend away, a short weekend away, for a trip when we stopped at this store we'd never stopped at before. We found these treasures, and the trunk of our car is full from suitcases and overnight bags, and I said we've got to make room because both of them are coming home with me. But again, I'm going to show it to you. I do want to get another mechanism to go so that I can use that clock, and it should be pretty easy to replace because it's battery operated, and I know Hobby Lobby has them. So let me get up a little closer and try to avoid the glare so you can see. Whoever stitched this spent hours, days, months loving this, and then having it framed in a clock case. And to me, it's priceless. But to someone, it was only worth $25. And I'm so happy it's mine that I brought it here and I'm able to give it a home. So there's that. So this coming week, I'm going to continue to work on my America sampler. I hope to get very close to a finish so that I can easily more than likely I'll start the anniversary piece. But I do have that small piece that I may start as well. I've spent a lot of time this past week watching and catching up with some of my favorite floss tubers. I've watched Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts and Julie at Reflections Needlework. I've watched Lisa Kindred Stitcher, Dina Half Stitch Cross Stitch, just many. I watched Merritt Crawford. I enjoy visiting with all of the floss tubers out there. I hope to visit a few more this week to be inspired to see what they've been up to see what their stitches are, their ideas for finishing. I just find it all inspiring and enabling in such a good way. I just love Flosstube. It makes me happy, It calms me down when I'm having a day at work, that I can come home and just put on people that I may not have even met, but they feel like great friends, and they just calm me down from the worries of the work day. So I'm gonna watch some Flosstube this evening since I'm home until my husband comes home. And I'm gonna work on this piece, and like I said, through the week I hope to finish it or get really close to a finish so I can make another start. I'd like to finish this piece that I shared with you that I had finished, and I should do this tonight, put this flag on it, but I want to fully finish that. If I can find something, that would be great. And other than that, I have no other plans, just to do some family get together on Tuesday, do a little stitching through the week and a little floss tubing. So everyone, it's a holiday weekend, and whether you're in America or not, it's the perfect time. Any time is the perfect time to spend time with family and friends and neighbors, to laugh and celebrate life and enjoy each other. Until next time, hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.